Hi, this is Hal Kempfer. I'm the host of the STRAT podcast, Strategic Risk Assessment Talk, and I also am a national security analyst, homeland security analyst on various media outlets, News Nation, Live Now from Fox, and various other stations and networks as well. And I am going to talk to you about three things with the conflict between India and Pakistan. Number one, what's the cause of the current crisis? Well, in late April, there was a terrorist attack, a horrific terrorist attack, killing about 27 tourists in the Kashmir area in India. A number of them were foreign tourists, but they were up there enjoying an absolutely beautiful day. And terrorists belonging to the Kashmir Resistance, which is a splinter group from Lashkar-e-Taiba, which is the folks that did the Mumbai terrorist attack in 2008. Anyway, they went in there, and just the way they went about doing it was, lining up people, trying to make them quote the Quran, and if they didn't do it correctly, they would execute them, in some cases in front of their wives, loved ones. It was just horrible. And the feeling, and there's a lot of reason for this in India, is that these terrorist groups, these Islamic extremist terrorist groups in Kashmir, that they are simply an arm of the Pakistani government, that they're an arm of the Pakistani intelligence service ISI. And that is the belief in India. And there's a lot of reasons why they have that belief. And they responded by saying this was an attack by India. All right. So that's the current crisis right now. Now, the Indian response was to, after a period of time, they launched a series of strikes with missiles and aircraft, and they hit what they said were 9 targets. The Pakistanis claim, I think there were 5 or 6 targets. Nonetheless, these were major targets. They weren't just in the Kashmir area that is occupied by Pakistan, not just in the Jumma region that was occupied by Pakistan, but they were hitting actually in Pakistan proper at a variety of sites. And apparently, from what reports we have, is there was a very significant air-to-air conflict. There's a report of 125 different aircraft involved in air-to-air combat. The Pakistanis claim they shot down 2 or 5 Indian fighter bombers. The Indians aren't really saying. Most experts are kind of figuring that maybe a couple, at least 2, were probably brought down by the Pakistani aircraft. But following that, there was a series of back and forth shooting artillery rockets across the border. And India appears to have launched a fairly significant drone attack with at least 25 drones that went well into and around the major cities all over Pakistan. So now the threat of all this is that it will escalate, and each side has over 170 nuclear weapons, nuclear warheads on that can be delivered by aircraft, by missiles. I believe the Indians have the ability to do submarine launched nuclear weapons. So that is a considerable amount of nuclear firepower that could have catastrophic implications, not only in South Asia, but also by kicking up all of that radioactive material into the upper atmosphere, into the stratosphere, stuff that would float all the way around around the world, impacting the United States, and potentially could kick up enough stuff that it could cause significant climate changing impact, such as lowering the temperature. So that's pretty big. Number 3, what's the underlying causes? You got 3 things in this: religion, water, and of course, the overarching nuclear issue. Let me first address religion. The Kashmir area, which is way up north by the Himalayas, that when India and Pakistan broke off into Pakistan and India from the British Raj, which was, the Indian Raj, if you will, when they became 2 separate countries, the predominant Muslim states were supposed to go to Pakistan. The predominant Hindu states were going to go to India. And then you had Kashmir, way up there by the Himalayas. About 70% of the population is Muslim, but the Maharaja is Hindu. And he did not want to become part of Pakistan. And so what ended up is that region never became part of Pakistan proper. It's been fought over. Most of it's controlled by the largest part of it is controlled by India. Part of it is controlled by Pakistan, and actually parts of it are controlled by China, that's a whole other issue I'm not going to get into. Now, why is this important? Well, religion, I just talked about, but the other side is water. This is the great watershed. It's a big watershed for India. It is an indispensable watershed for Pakistan. The Indus Water Treaty, the Indus being the largest river in Pakistan, the Indus and two other tributaries basically provide the water that supports 80% of the agricultural production in Pakistan. That treaty, for the first time, has been halted, if you will. One of the reactions of India was to say we're going to basically stop abiding by the treaty, and we're not going to let all that water flow into the Indus River and its tributaries. That would have cataclysmic impact on Pakistan with a population of 250 million. And Pakistan simply cannot let the lifeblood being water of its country, get cut off. So this is big, big enough that you start saying, well, what lengths would they go to turn this around? And that's why you get concerned. Would things escalate to the point where they look at their nuclear weapons? Hopefully not. Every time this has happened before, while they had nuclear weapons, it de-escalated. Hopefully this time it will de-escalate as well. But this conflict has certain elements that's bigger than anything we've ever seen. Hey, thanks for listening to the three things about the Indian-Pakistan conflict. And hopefully you go to strappodcast.com for my podcasts and go to Hal Kempfer TV on YouTube to hear my various segments in the media. And thank you for listening and watching my three things.